Okay, you're with Michael Crosby here now. I'm trying to get a lot of stuff done, but it's really hard. I'm so far behind in what I want to do. It's mind-boggling. I mean, I've had so many resources literally destroyed. I mean, just literally destroyed that way, you know? So when you end up with these situations where basically you end up with all these different crazy people doing a whole lot of mass carnage when you're trying to build something. I've still got a whole fleet that I have to replace. The election hasn't started yet for me. And we've got this huge mess. I mean, right now we have a huge mess all over the state of California. The election sequence hasn't started yet. We've got these people red-handed in about 3, possibly 4 elections at this point, completely rigged. We're waiting for the right people to either not be afraid or to show up ready to deal with things, because we have too much corruption in the justice system. It's crazy. We've got a bunch of people that they're told they can't do their job. You've got officers told they can't do their job. They know it's a huge mess. These people are pulling their hair out. I mean, and I've had buddies that were sheriffs. I mean, I used to live with one for a while in Arkansas, a good buddy of mine. Him and his wife. They were really great people, by the way. And I actually knew him ever since I was a kid. Ever since I was a kid, knew him my whole life. And it's just amazing when I'm looking at what's been going on in California. We've never, ever seen statistics like this ever before in history. It's just completely amazing, the carnage that we have. So here I've been working so hard for so many years, decades, to set time aside and be able to, salvage out and get different resources put aside, try to get the big bang for the buck, so to speak, come up with the right type of data. And, data's really exploded now, but to make sure that I would have all this stuff, have all these computers, have these mobile vehicles, have the mobile Wi-Fi, have all the components and everything ready to get on doing with this stuff. And the carnage is we continuously have people that seem to have no idea how to do stimulus. They're totally on the coattails of everyone else. And they're mass destruction. All they keep doing is implementing mass demographic destabilization again and again and again. And you have these people's lives where every time they're doing this, every so often, it overlaps. There's a certain small percentage of people where you have this overlap again and again and again, and it's pounding people into the ground. It's genocide. They've created this mess. They're just murdering people. It's just horrible. And they're trying to completely pretend as though nothing's happening. And they've lied to the voters election after election, and it just has to stop. Not just stop. These people have to go to prison. There's a whole bunch of them. They're busted red-handed. And we don't have anyone in the state level, that's prepared to arrest them yet. As the state level is telling everybody down below that, it's you can't come up and arrest any of us. It's out of y'all's league. And this is not going to fly. This is not going to work. I filed for special panel rights. I've got a bunch of federal papers filed. It's enormously complicated. You have to have resources to do it. So I'm doing this huge juggling act, and I'm trying to find people who are ready, willing, and have some kind of qualifications that will be, brave enough to get certain board activity going. And it's a real nightmare. It's a real nightmare because I'm getting choked off and repeatedly hit again and again by these attacks that these people end up engineering. And they think they're really clever and they're always in the denial. But I'm one of the people that I understand what original Royal German Empire engineering is to make communism, to make socialism. These people would run around with these cases and work with syndicate members, and all these people, they were great deceivers, and they would pretend like they're enlightened ones and they're helping the people. No, they were junior oligarchs themselves. They were all on the payrolls and, understanding the physics of this, and I'm laying bits and pieces out trying to re-explain stuff that I already had in my archive. A lot of custom research. I mean, a lot of custom artifacts, a lot of custom and original artifacts and whatnot. And, it's just a crime against humanity. Nobody attacks archives, And when I'm building, these tools, these specialized AI tools for voters, those are voters' tools. You don't attack the voters' tools. You attack the voters' tools. Those are major felonies. And we have the state level regime. They still haven't disclosed what they've done. They're lying to the voters about what they've done. And there's just a mess. It's just all over the place. It's huge. It's massive, and it just has to be addressed. And for me, if I got resources, it'd be no problem at all. No problem at all. I'm just going to bring in players, hook people up. But, the biggest thing is to find people brave enough and willing to do the job. And I'm just going to tell you, no matter how a lot of this stuff goes down, I'm going to do everything I can to get high-end people, and I'm sure some people have seen some of these people who are committed to repairing California. I mean, no joke there. So I mean, so all of this, all in all, basically has to deal with so many problems. If someone asked me right away about homelessness, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, huge mess, and everybody's got allegations, and it's hard to say that some of them are wrong when they say they're creating the homeless mess so they can make excuses to raise money. Well, I'm going to tell you that the mass demographic destabilization overlapping, which these are governance items that were designed by the Royal German Empire, and these things were affixed with communism, with socialism, with Nazism, all of this stuff, throughout Russia, all this stuff, World War II, all this stuff is invented. So when you have all this so-called scholastic stuff, when we studied, we've got all these sheepskins. And I'm just going to tell you, I'm master archiver here, guys, girls. Okay, look, you have to understand the origins of this material that they're learning, okay, because they're claiming that they're enlightened. And there ain't no enlightenment there. What there is a lot of lies and blood. That's what we have. There's no enlightenment there. And this is something that was drilled into me since I was a small child about different things. And I was privy to certain other facts. There's a whole lot of reasons why, and you have all these people denying these super master puppeting kits that some of these people are getting a hold of. And also all of this stuff, you've got all this stuff going back in these universities that goes back to the 1800s, where people were purposely weaponizing and influencing. They were trading drugs for favors, and they were running certain types of psychiatrists to invent certain new types of psychology symmetries because they wanted to control people's minds. And when you have copies of the original stuff, we're talking very important historical type stuff. And these maniacs are going to run around and keep destroying archives. They're not building archives. Where's the archives? They're not building archives. Where's the archives where any person, say any homeless person, can go store evidence? They don't have one. Oh, they'll use Google, they'll say. These people are liars. They're liars, liars, liars. And these people have to go to prison. They are diabolically opposed to the Constitution of the United States. They keep attacking it all the time. It's just incredibly horrible. My answer here for homelessness, I can tell you right off the bat, 20% of the homeless people, their bloodline connects to people that were in this country basically when the great land purchases happened. That means that we got people whose they're offspring of Stuarts or equivalent, okay? Where basically they were around, they paid, they've been around so long, okay, they're vested citizens. They haven't got their stock issuances. We got a bunch of screwball people, and that's a complicated story to see how the bribery occurred to convince people in greed that they wanted to cancel the deal that was made with us citizens about us paying and buying the land, the great land purchases, and getting our stock, getting our residuals, getting our dividends, getting our land stakings, all this stuff. People don't understand it. And some people get pieces of it, but they got to go get attorneys. They got to go to court. It's a big pain, and it takes some people, it takes years and years. Other people seem to get it right away. I don't know what's up with that. We can talk about it sometimes. But 20% of the people that are homeless, what those people need is an advocate and some experts to tell them how to spend money for a new construction loan. Let's build them a house. Let's get the payment locked in. It's never going to really change. And as time goes forward, their money situation is going to become static. So this is what we want to do. We want to get people back to work, do part of the work themselves. And it's a self-perpetuating item. These people don't want to self-perpetuate. These people don't want to help people build something solid, help them build assets and equity for themselves. It's a big, huge slavery game. They're reinventing slavery all over again. It's insane. Longevity was 38 years of age in 1750. 38 years of age. Now they're telling people they want you to work 42 years. So that, you can retire like 65, 62, whatever. So they want you to work like 42 years. People didn't even live 42 years. The design of our Constitution and the entire economic situation was designed so people could retire in just 5 years, certainly 7. This huge, massive fraud, we have to end these people. They're just never going to stop lying. And we have to bring stewardism back once again. We got to have stewardship. I'm serious. That's what we've got to really do. So real quick again, I've talked about it. Some people haven't seen it yet. Group 1, $80 million worth of stock. That's kind of how it works. Think Alaska type permafund stuff, okay? Group 2, $10 million worth of stock. Now the future over 10 years of how money's invested and how you work with things. First of all, we're going to do a mass collective, leveraging into incredible AI power. Okay, that's going to get us knowledge that's mind-boggling. Sometime I'll tell you about how much knowledge was captured by the federal government that's sitting in boxes of the most brilliant investment plans that you could ever wonder about. And the stuff is locked in warehouses someplace. And we own it. It's our property. Some of the most brilliant business plans that have ever been invented were basically captured and seized by people that were criminals. And people have no idea that this stuff even exists. So I mean, there's just all this stuff that's I'm going to get it going 100% high speed. But again, how do we have an election again? How are we having an election when these people destroy an entire fleet of archive vehicles as a candidate? I mean, can you imagine? We're not talking about a Watergate break-in and they stole a few documents. We're talking these people have destroyed an entire fleet of mobile archive vehicles, a fleet. And they're trying to pretend as though nothing happened. The carnage is mind-boggling. These people have to go to prison. So real quick, for those of you who might be quite catching the first time, when I was running in a previous election, I laid the whole thing out. Commemorative coins, we're going to buy silver, we're going to go do a whole unique new series of commemorative coins, make California hundreds of billions of dollars. Okay, well, it didn't happen. Well, one of the reasons that I'll tell you right now, if you never heard of me, guaranteed the one reason you never heard of me is because these people did blacklisting, mass election rigging. Any voter that was voting 10 years ago that hasn't heard of my name yet, the only reason they don't hear my name is because of the felony conduct of these people up there in the state. That's why these people got to go to prison. So keep in mind here, back to the coins. On the coins here, I'm serious. The plan laid out from the last election, buy it at $18 an ounce for the silver, okay? Recently, silver hit $120. Okay, now if you get to about $80, $84, what would have ended up happening is the state would have made hundreds of billions of dollars, which, by the way, wouldn't be in debt. I would have really fixed things up. But just this alone, just one item alone would have fixed the debt for the state. Plus, everyone who invested in it would have made about $1.2 trillion combined amongst all of them. Okay, this is the proving is that all these items that I keep doing again and again and again in election after election after election, these people are somebody told me, this, look, Mike, these people are desperate. They're trying to destroy your archives because you have the proof that they're fools. You have the proof that they're evil. You have the proof that you laid out the game plans that were the right ones to repair everything economically. And they didn't. And they're embarrassed. And they're desperate. They're desperate to hide the truth. That's who these people also are. They're serious criminals.